1, 2, 3. So I guess we are back. Okay, hello everyone. I don't know what happened a few minutes back. I was just starting this live stream with Priya, my guest, and out of a sudden the power went out and the internet was out and I froze, and now we're back. So thanks for tuning in. My name is Kamran Akbarzadeh, founder of Dream Achievers Academy, and also I do these better business tactics interview series, and we have a Facebook group called Better Business Tactics that you can become a member. It's a private group, and every week I either interview a business owner, learning about their business, also about the way that they attract clients, they serve their clients, the results that they get, and also if they have any tactics that they can share with us so we all can learn. And if I don't have a guest one day, then I share myself from the tactics that I use or strategies that I have applied. So today I have a great guest, and we had this experience together. We laughed about it and I said that would be a good story also to share. So today I have Priya Bains, who is the owner of Virtual Freedom Coaching. And Priya has a PhD in industrial organizational psychology. And she's studied everything from leadership to cross-cultural virtual teams. And she has over 20 years of experience working as consultant and coach, and she helps a lot of business owners really get clarity with their purpose, with their direction, because many business owners have lots of ideas, but sometimes they really get caught up in those ideas and they don't do much. So let's welcome Priya. Thank you very much, Priya, for joining me, and sorry for the interruption that caused us to get back again to the beginning.
Thanks for having me here again, round two. Let's do it.
Hopefully nothing happens this time. So Priya, you were sharing the story behind the business. What's the story behind that, your business, and why did you start it?
Yeah, so I'm going to try and shorten it this time because I was distracted the last time around. So essentially, I started when I was around 12. So I got interested in psychology. I got interested in Freud. And then in high school, I got interested in studying leadership. And I had a basketball team and a volleyball team. It seems so strange to say this twice because it feels so rehearsed now. And on the basketball team, we did really, really well, and we were very competitive. And on the volleyball team, our school counselor was the coach. So we got along really well, but we didn't do very well on the volleyball team. The interesting thing was it was the same group of girls, and we had the capability to do equally well on both teams. So that sort of led me to the question, what is it about leadership that leads to higher performance versus what is it about leadership that leads to people getting along better? And then how can you have both? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't think anyone wants to work on a high performance team where everybody hates everyone. And we also don't want to work in a team where everyone loves everyone and the performance isn't reaching the levels that we're capable of achieving, right? So we want both. So that kind of led to that question, took me on this journey into sports psychology, leadership, and then the biopsychology, clinical counseling, industrial organizational psychology, all of that kind of followed. And then ultimately I was working as a consultant, and one thing led to another, and it all sort of lined up where I knew it was time to start my business. I've always wanted to start my own business, but I was one of those people, like many of my clients, who say, have to get a job and get experience and make sure I know enough. And then you keep working and you never have enough experience. So it kind of got to that place where I had that recognition and said, I just have to begin. There's no amount of experience I'm possibly going to get working here. I will retire before I have enough experience. Yes. And I just began. Yeah.
Perfect. No, this is like most people really fall in that trap, right? Either it's too early or too late, and that gap causes a lot of issues. Very good. Thank you for sharing about how you started. Now, what sort of services do you provide? Is it like coaching, consulting? Do you have any other services? Do you have any sort of training? How do you do this business?
So it falls sort of in a coaching consulting model. So my clients, they often have multiple ideas, multiple businesses. They don't know where to begin and they get very caught up in their head. So it's a combination of the psychology. So what I do is I connect individual psychology to business results. And that's a combination of individual coaching, some group coaching, and then I take them through a process that works in concert with the individual coaching to help them achieve a result. It's one service. And if somebody fits and I can support them, I'll let them know. If I can't, if it's not a good fit, I'll also let them know. So I really do talk to, it doesn't work for everybody.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Yeah.
So how do you find out that this client or the prospect is a great fit? And how do you really know this is your ideal client?
I will absolutely talk to them. So I go through a process. I talk to them. I ask them a number of questions. And through that conversation, I will determine if I can help this person. So someone, I mean, so there's certain, so I've had people come to me saying, you know, they want to make candles and they don't know how to make candles. That's not my ideal prospect. My ideal prospect has multiple talents, multiple skills. You know, some of them like paint and they're tax professionals and they're bakers and they just have all of this sitting there and they're like, I don't know what to do with it. I can do all of it, but I don't know which one's going to work and where to begin. So it's like they're overly skilled and they don't even know how to make that skill set profitable. Does that make sense?
Exactly, it does. It does. And we know that really everyone has other things that they're very interested in, that's their passion, but they don't really know how to make a business out of it. So that's great that you do that. And then how do you reach your ideal clients or the ideal prospects? What channels do you normally use to bring them? I went to your website and I noticed really lots of great testimonials, and we'll talk about some of the results that people have got. But how do you really attract people?
So I use a combination. So I'm on Facebook. I have a Facebook group, a Facebook business page. I was doing Instagram, but I had one of those stories, real business, real life. My virtual assistant, like poof, vanished. I don't even know, like, I don't know if I don't know what happened to her. So, so it's mostly currently Facebook, but I'm actually just starting to expand on my social media presence. So I haven't done that currently, obviously, like I was doing it, pulled back, and I'm going to go back out there. And I've also met clients literally sitting at a restaurant. So one of my favorite clients literally was met him in Vegas.
On vacation or business sort of?
It was a business trip, and I was having dinner by myself at a restaurant and ended up signing up a client.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, so
nice way of doing it.
Yeah, all over the place. If it's a good fit, it's a good fit. And yeah, that's basically how it works. Very standard, similar to what everyone else does.
Now, Priya, let's say like in Vegas, for example, right? So you are in a restaurant, or let's say you are in a hotel and then in an elevator. So we always hear, what is your elevator pitch? Now, if I'm in a restaurant, maybe eating lunch or dinner, or we are in a conference and we are together going up to the conference room or down, whichever way we say it, what would be the one sentence that in few seconds you would tell me, and then I would say, I want to hear more?
So I actually would not use that sentence. I would have a conversation with the person and ask them a question. And then if they ask me what I do, then I will offer the sentence, which is essentially, I work with innovative business owners with too many ideas, potentially multiple businesses, and I help them grow their businesses to 6 figures or more.
Exactly. Very good. Very good. Now, you know, there are lots of entrepreneurs and people that have lots of ideas. So I think you find a lot of them when you start the conversation, right?
There are so many people out there. And yeah, they really, I find in my experience in speaking to them, they really struggle because they have so many ideas. So someone like yourself, you're offering the tactics and, you could potentially really help them, but because the first part is not done for them, then they don't have the level of success they could have with you. So I help with that first piece, so then they can work with anybody and go from 6 to 7 or 8 or 9 figures or whatever it may be.
Very good. Great. Now, Priya, we know that with COVID-19, and maybe before that or currently, whatever angle we look at this, there are always challenges, right? To business owners, they face challenge. What is one of those biggest challenges that you have faced or you're facing currently in your business?
Strangely enough, nothing. It's
Nothing.
been the best year I've ever had in business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So
perfect.
I mean, I look at it this way. I've been preparing for quarantine my entire life. Part of my expertise is virtual teams. So working
Yes.
virtually, remotely, it's been my whole thing. So yeah.
What about the business owners or your clients? What normally challenges they normally face? Is it that hurdle of clarification in their mind about what they want to focus on?
So are you asking in the context of COVID or generally?
No, general.
So generally it's that level of clarity, but sometimes there's some kind of psychology or experience or something that's happened in their life that they haven't quite acknowledged. So I'll like two sort of strange-ish examples. So one woman I worked with, she couldn't get past six figures. She couldn't do it. And then through the coaching, we discovered she had this like sort of subconscious fear of making more money than her husband. We cleared that up. We dealt with that. And she jumped to $250,000 by the end of the year. Mm-hmm. So it's like these strange little things that operate in the background that when they're not addressed, the actions that lead to the results, they just, even if someone takes those actions, they do them in this way that almost sabotages, right? They do it, but they do it half-heartedly. They don't do it with that same level of energy or passion or focus because there's this dialogue running in the background. So often when I find that dialogue, the next steps will happen and then they just take off.
Perfect. And now the next question is, I think since you haven't faced challenges, then nothing may stop you. What could slow you down?
Oh, this one I've actually, this is a strange one that I've really had to, this is mine that I've really had to dig in and discover. And it's taken a very long time. Guilt. So if I ever do something, like if I decide to work with a client because I feel bad for them or I feel guilty, or that always leads to some kind of a disaster. So I've had to learn for myself, like, don't do anything out of guilt or feeling, quote, sorry for somebody. That does not work. And that will slow me down.
Is it emotionally attached or is it just feeling guilty? Because I know some coaches kind of they're emotionally attached to their clients. Is it that, or is it like feeling guilty different?
It's not emotional attachment. I've worked through that, but it's like this sense of guilt, like where, oh my God, I feel sorry for this person and I can help them. And I've really had to talk to myself, like, I don't want to feel sorry for people. Like if I feel sorry for them, this is not the right fit. Like I have to see how amazing they are and what they're capable of. And when I can see that, that's a good fit. If I feel sorry for anybody, it's a bad, terrible decision for me and probably for the client. So I have to be very aware of that and not get caught in that.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Thank you. Now, let's talk about tactics, because the name of this interview series is Better Business Tactics. Now, what are those maybe top 2, 3, whatever you want to share, tactics that you have used over years, because you have over 20 years of experience, that other business owners could really use in their advantage? Maybe they can leverage that.
Okay, this one's crazy, and it's not going to be a tactic that you're like most people are going to even consider. Running. Yeah. So when I don't know what to write, when I need inspiration, when I don't know what to put on social media, running. And by the time I finish that run, I will have at least 10 ideas.
Yeah.
So running.
So running could be walking too, or exercising, or just for you is running.
For me, it's running. And what the baseline of that running, for me, when I run, it's a bit like a meditation. So whether it's walking or it's about doing something that gets you in such an intensely focused state that your thoughts kind of run away with themselves. So literally I run, my thoughts run away with themselves, and I come back with so many ideas. And it's also, for a lot of people, I think it could be driving.
Yeah.
So while you're doing that hour, like I know in the US, a lot of people drive 40 minutes to work or an hour back and forth. If you turn off the radio, if you like put down your phone, don't text and drive, and you just drive, like those ideas come to us. And then the first thing you do when you're driving is you park your car, you go up to your computer, and then you write them down.
Yeah.
And then you've got content.
Exactly. No, I can literally connect to that, because that happened to me. I was driving, and during the driving, I was not listening to anything. It's just visualizing, and I was driving, paying attention. But at the same time, it just things start to download, and then you come up with some ideas, and that really resulted in one of my online products. So I definitely connected that. So try it if you don't believe what she's saying. That's great. So next is about tools and technologies. I think sometimes some of the business owners get caught up in perfectionism and then say, oh, I have to have this tool or that technology ready. Do you see that? Do you have you seen people that just wait for the best technology to show up and they use it? And what advice do you have for the use of technology in our businesses?
So I think you're sort of setting me up very well with that question. Is I don't think technology solves our business problems. What we need to do is first find out what problem we need to solve, and then find the technology that fits the solution of that problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it can be, we have to understand what the problem is, and it's different for everybody. So I know like a lot of, coaches and trainers, they say, use this tool and then use this tool and then use this tool and then follow this process. And, for a lot of business owners, they're just changing from one tool to the next, and they're porting like their CRM system, and they're switching from Wistia to Vimeo and YouTube and all. And in the grand scheme of things, most of that doesn't even matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Start from somewhere. Start
from somewhere. Yeah.
Exactly.
And you'll learn as you go.
You learn as you go. I mean, learning by doing. That's one of the things mottos that I have. Now, when it comes to the vision for your business, what is that kind of ideal picture that you have for your business? And we can call it vision, or what's next for you?
I'm laughing because the conversation's flowing in this way where like each question is leading into my next answer. So
that's great.
Which, that's exactly what you want to happen. But so I don't have a grand vision for my business, because right now the next level vision is just 100 clients a year. That's what I want to work with, because I believe the way technology is shifting so quickly, the way the world is changing so quickly, I don't think anymore. I think there was a time, maybe like 5-10 years ago, because that's how fast things are moving, where that 3-year, 5-year, 10-year vision made sense. But I think holding a looser vision makes more sense now, because it'll evolve based on your clients, what you discover they need, based on what happens with technology, based on what happens with social media, what happens in the world. I feel like it moves so quickly that to hold on to a vision can sometimes actually stifle us. So I kind of, right now, it's just 100 clients a year.
100
and then we'll see what happens next.
It's very specific.
Yeah.
Very clear. That's what we expect from someone who helps other business coaches to get clarity. So very, very good. Thank you for sharing that. Now, let's talk about business advice. First, what business advice you've had from someone, or you've read it somewhere, that it's your favorite, and why?
So I think if I just process how I speak, and I've gotten this advice from, I don't know, every coach out there probably, but take responsibility. So when we grow our business, when we choose to transform ourselves, it's to take full responsibility for our results. And I say this very carefully because I think there's a lot of, as we look at the coaching industry, there's people who kind of presented this idea of, I'll fix your problem, come work with me, and you're going to have this magical overnight result. And then, people go in with that expectation and they say, well, I didn't get the magical overnight result. It's your fault. You screwed me up. And and I'm speaking really too from the perspective, like, if you're going to be a business owner, you have to take full responsibility for your decisions. Know that we're all going to make mistakes. We're going to screw things up. People are going to yell at us on social media. It's just part of just how it all works. So it's like to take full responsibility and say, I've made this decision. I know this decision may involve some risk. And I know if I don't do my part in this story, I can't expect to get results, and just accept that. And then we have, I feel like when we take that level of responsibility, we have so much more power to create transformation the way we desire.
Very good. So you brought me to that point. I wanted to ask the next question. You mentioned about taking responsibility for getting results. Now, can you share with us some of the results that your clients have got just based on this methodology or concept?
Yeah, so I think some of the most interesting or fun results I've had with clients, I explained the other one where, she just cleared up that scenario with her husband, which was all in her head, by the way, and she jumped from less than 6 figures to 250,000 in less than a year. Another one of my favorite clients, she's actually a musician, and she started out, she was a music teacher, and when she came to me, she said, if I can play music outside of my state, that would be amazing. One concert outside of my state. Well, she followed the coaching, and through the process of following the coaching, she ended up deciding to apply for the Tiny Desk concert with the NPR radio. And I never told her. That was through the conversations, the dialogue, and following it. And so the idea was presented to her. She went and entered the contest, and she won it. And so she's not just playing outside of her state. She ended up playing all over the world. Like, she's literally traveled the entire world. And she's open for bands like Wilco. She's done like all sorts of amazing things. And she just wanted one concert. So it's those kinds of, I love those kinds of magical things. I've even, the person I ended up working with in Vegas, he thought he was going to get fired from his job. We ended up doing the coaching. Within 6 weeks, he found out he's getting $100,000 raise. Yeah, and is now in succession for CEO. So
that's how coaching works, right? So you help people take that responsibility. They see the gate closed, right? You help them say, no, the gate can be opened if you just want to, right? So they open the gate, and now they see lots of opportunities in front of them. That's really great, and that's really the wonder that coaches can do when they do the right job of coaching, right? So helping them take responsibility. Now, what is your business advice? You mentioned about taking responsibility. I think that's what you also have got. But now, what is your best business advice that you can give to the business owners, whether they are new or whether they're experienced? What is your best advice?
Listen to your intuition.
Listen to intuition.
Yeah, so we can think and overthink and think and think and think, but our intuition knows. And when our intuition is aligned, our emotions will align. The slight caveat is watching out and for the fear, right? And this is especially important right now because everything everywhere is just fear. And if you have fear, go to the data. Is this a reasonable fear? Have I done the research? Do the numbers make sense? Like, go to the data and ask those sorts of questions, because fear usually arises from perception. Like, it arises from, you know, those dramatic cases, right? Fear is drama. And drama, like when we can look at the numbers, we can really say, does this make sense? And does this not make sense? So we get rid of the fear, and then we trust our intuition.
Great. Trust your intuition. I think everyone really has that. And that's that small voice that's sometimes just shut up, right?
Well, it's getting shut up all the time. Like,
yes.
Everything we do is like telling us to not trust that. But at our core, we're animals, and animals survive on intuition. So why can't we?
Why can't we? Exactly. So before we end, I just want to thank you, and then let whoever is watching or later watches how they can connect with you, and if they're interested in having conversation with you, how they can reach out.
So you can go to vfcoaching.net. So V as in virtual, F as in freedom. So it's virtualfreedomcoaching.net, vfcoaching.net. If you want to book a call with me, go to vfcoaching.net/apply. And I also have a group on Facebook called The Abundantly Creative Mind.
Perfect. So vfcoaching.net with Priya Bains. Just that's the website. If you want to have a call about the coaching, then /apply. And then you apply there. And there is the Facebook group that you can also join. Thank you so much, Priya. That's great. We didn't have any other interruption. And our live stream is done today. Thanks a lot for sharing great insights. And thanks everyone for watching. And if you're interested in this sort of interaction interview, just let me know. And if you want, you can also join Better Business Tactics Facebook group. Thanks again, Priya. Have a great day.